You know that strange feeling that even when you're doing everything right, something still feels off, as if there's an invisible force holding back your achievements, delaying your results, keeping away what you most desire? Well, that's not a coincidence. There's a reason why certain things haven't manifested in your life yet, and it's hidden in something that almost no one has told you until now: your resistance. Yes, as paradoxical as it may seem, it's often your struggle to control everything that's blocking the arrival of what you most want. When you insist on forcing things, on trying to understand every detail, on manipulating time and the direction of events, you fall out of harmony with the natural flow of creation. And that's when everything gets stuck. But today, something is going to change. If you're watching this video right now, know this: it's not by chance. There's synchronicity at work. A higher intelligence is manifesting at this very moment to remind you of something essential. What truly belongs to you doesn't require effort to arrive. It requires alignment. Maybe you've prayed, made affirmations, visualized, and still, it seems like nothing happens. But what if the problem isn't what you're asking for, but the way you're trying to receive it? The truth is, the greater plan for your life is already in motion. There's already a path prepared, far beyond what your mind can comprehend. But this path only reveals itself when you loosen your grip, when you stop resisting, when you finally choose to trust. And that's why this video is a turning point. Here, you will understand, feel, and live a new perspective. That letting go of control doesn't mean losing, but allowing the universe to surprise you, allowing life to flow, allowing everything that once seemed distant to begin arriving, as if by magic, but really by alignment. Today, you'll discover what it truly means to be in alignment with your destiny. You'll understand why stopping resistance is the first step for everything to begin manifesting with ease. And more than that, you'll activate within yourself a new vibration, a frequency of conscious surrender, of powerful acceptance that places your life back on the path of abundance. Stay until the end, because this isn't just another video, it's a calling. And if you've come this far, it's because you're already ready to hear it. There is something you can't see, but you can feel. A silent yet powerful force that seems to be getting closer and closer to you. It has no exact name, no defined form, but it carries a deep certainty. You are being guided. There's a calling vibrating deep within your being, not coming from the mind, but from the heart. And even if you don't yet understand everything, you can no longer ignore it. This higher energy moving around you now is the answer to something your soul has been asking for a long time. Maybe in the form of a prayer, maybe through pain, maybe through sleepless nights, held back tears, or long silences. Whatever the form, it has been heard. You may think you're lost, but you are closer to your true path than you've ever been. Sometimes everything has to fall apart so that what's essential can emerge. What seemed like confusion was actually realignment. What you called a delay was only preparation. Life is repositioning you, not as punishment, but as care. The subtle order that governs the universe is weaving behind the scenes, the right encounters, the necessary lessons, and even the inevitable losses that guide you back to your original route, the one you can't see with your eyes, but feel with your soul. The present moment, as challenging as it may seem, is not an obstacle. It's a portal. It's through it that your essence will be revealed. There are times when life seems to stagnate, to freeze, to stop responding. But sometimes, it's in that silence that the greatest transformations are formed. It's like the earth that seems still, but is nurturing deep roots. You can't see it, but you are blooming. That's why everything within you is being invited to trust, to let go of control, to stop trying to force what only needs to be lived. When you stop resisting what is, you begin to flow with what has always been yours. The opportunities that once seemed distant begin to draw near. The answers you sought outside begin to arise from within. And what once seemed impossible begins to manifest with ease. This movement reaching you now doesn't require effort, only permission. It doesn't demand struggle, but surrender. What's coming doesn't depend on blind effort, but on presence, on listening, on sensitivity. Because when you align yourself with the wisdom that governs everything, life ceases to be a battlefield and becomes a temple. You don't need to know all the details, nor see the entire path ahead. You only need to take the next step in faith, because there is a force guiding you, an intelligence sustaining you, and a purpose far greater than you can imagine revealing itself right now in your life. Have you ever noticed how exhausting it is to try to control everything? The mind analyzes, plans, questions, creates scenarios, and in the end, you still feel like you're swimming against the current. That exhaustion has a name: resistance. And it's not resistance to the outside world. It's resistance to the natural movement of life that's trying to guide, transform, and elevate you. Resistance in this case is when you insist on keeping old stories alive. It's when you feed patterns that no longer serve you, cling to limiting beliefs, or hold on to bonds that have already expired. It's continuing to say yes to what should have been left behind and no to what's trying to be born. Every time you hold on to something out of fear, guilt, or attachment, you close a door that the new is trying to enter through. Life wants to flow through you, but resistance creates blockages, like stones that interrupt the course of a river. And that's when delays, repetitive cycles, and frustrations appear. What seems like bad luck or misfortune might actually be you resisting the natural course of your own expansion. The mind resists because it seeks safety. It wants certainty, guarantees, maps. But the path of true manifestation is guided by another compass: the soul's. And the soul doesn't work through control. It operates through trust. When you release the need to know all the hows and whens, you create space for the unexpected to surprise you. Resistance is often an attempt to protect yourself from pain. But ironically, it ends up creating even more suffering. You fear losing, so you cling to what no longer has life. Yet what you hold on to out of fear keeps you trapped, and what you release with love sets you free. That's why miracles don't happen in rigidity, but in surrender. They arise when you let go of tension, relax your shoulders, take a deep breath, and say to yourself, "I allow." Because allowing is the opposite of resisting. It's like opening the windows of a dark house to let the light in. The light was always there. It just needed space. When you stop resisting, you begin to hear your intuition more clearly, notice the signs around you, and feel lightness in the small gestures of everyday life. The path doesn't become free of challenges, but you stop fighting against it. And that changes everything. The wisdom of existence is always guiding you toward what's best, even if, at times, that means the fall of something you thought was essential. What looks like an ending is often just a detour to a greater beginning, and resistance only delays that new chapter. You don't have to carry the weight of the world. You don't have to control every piece on the board. You only need to trust the game. Because when you stop resisting the flow of life, you discover that it has always been on your side, simply waiting for your permission to take you further. Maybe you're going through a strange period where doors are closing, people are drifting away, and plans are falling apart. At first glance, it might seem like everything is spinning out of control. But what if, in truth, this is a clear sign that your life is being subtly realigned by a higher force? It's curious how realignment doesn't arrive with applause or announcements. It comes quietly, through discomfort, through invitations to let go. It comes when something that once made sense starts to lose its spark, when certain conversations no longer resonate, when familiar places stop feeling like home, when you sense that you no longer fit into the emotional clothes you used to wear. These are signs that your old version is being gently invited to make space for something new. The universe, in its precise intelligence, begins moving invisible pieces. Some people leave, but others arrive. A job ends, but with it comes the courage to create something of your own. A cycle closes, but a space opens for the extraordinary. It can be uncomfortable, and it usually is, because realignment often means being disorganized first. It's like renovating a house. At the beginning, everything looks messy, but that mess is necessary for something better to be built. And within that apparent chaos, divine order is born. Some signs are subtle, almost imperceptible, a sharper intuition, a growing desire to change habits, an impulse to care more for yourself, a good kind of restlessness that propels you forward. Other signs are clearer, opportunities that appear out of nowhere, synchronicities, encounters that feel like destiny. You start to repeatedly see certain words, numbers, messages. Your dreams become more vivid. Déjà vu sensations appear. None of this is coincidence. It's the universe saying, you're on the right path, trust. The mind may resist and want to understand everything, but your soul knows, and the more you listen to that inner wisdom, the stronger the signs become. They guide you with gentleness yet firmness. And even when something feels like a loss, deep down you start to sense that it's actually making room for a greater gain. Nothing happens out of time. Nothing leaves your path without purpose. Everything being removed, transformed, or paused is preparing the ground for something more aligned with your new frequency. It's important to observe these signs with presence, to acknowledge them, to honor them. They are the compass connecting you to the right route. And the more attention you give them, the clearer your direction becomes. You are not lost. You are being repositioned. You are being guided. You are being prepared. Even if you don't understand everything right now, soon you'll look back and see that everything fit together perfectly. Many people confuse surrender with weakness. They think that trusting in the unseen means giving up action, but nothing could be further from the truth. Consciously surrendering is one of the most powerful choices a person can make. It is an act of courage, of faith, of deep alignment with what cannot be seen but can be felt. Active surrender doesn't mean crossing your arms and waiting for everything to fall from the sky. It means stopping the fight against life's natural flow. It's stepping out of tension and into presence. It's saying, I am open to the best path even if I can't see it right now. You keep taking action, but with lightness. You keep dreaming, but without anxiety. You keep walking, but without haste, because you know there's something greater organizing everything behind the scenes of existence, and that trust brings you peace. Resistance, on the other hand, is exhausting. It makes us try to control everything, fix everything, understand everything. It traps us in fear, doubt, and comparison. It suffocates the soul. When we resist, we're telling the universe that we don't trust the process, and it respects that. After all, you are the co-creator of your reality. But when you actively surrender, you send a clear message. I accept being guided. I trust in the perfect timing of things. I am open to what is best for me. And that changes everything, because the universe responds precisely to your frequency. It listens not to what you wish for with your words, but to what you vibrate with your heart. Active surrender means moving forward, even when you don't have all the answers. It's continuing to plant seeds even before you see the fruits. It's trusting that even on cloudy days, the sun is still there. This surrender doesn't make you powerless. It empowers you. Because now you're no longer acting from fear, but from trust. You're no longer trying to force doors open, but allowing the right ones to open naturally. This isn't passivity. It's wisdom. The truth is that when you stop resisting, something opens within you, a new, fertile space full of possibilities. And it's in that space that magic happens. You begin to notice synchronicities, clearer intuitions, and paths forming before your eyes, because now you're flowing with the whole. Active surrender invites you to release control, but not your essence, to let go of the weight, but not your values, to trust without ceasing to move. It's a subtle balance, yet a transformative one. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. You don't need to understand everything right now. You don't need to have all the guarantees. You only need to be present, aware, and open. Because when you open yourself to the new also opens itself to you. And the greater plan begins to manifest with a power that no human resistance could ever stop. In a universe where everything is energy, what you feel matters more than what you say. Reality doesn't respond only to the words you speak. but to the vibration you emit. And that's where faith comes in, not as a religious concept, but as a creative, energetic force. Faith is the portal. It's what opens the path between the invisible and the visible, between desire and realization. When you truly feel that something is possible, even when there's no concrete proof yet, you begin to anchor that possibility into the physical plane. You start aligning with it, attracting circumstances, people, and synchronicities that vibrate at the same frequency as you're feeling. Many believe they need to see to believe, but the universe works the other way around. You need to believe to see, because whatever you believe in with enough emotional strength begins to take shape in your life. And that applies to everything: love, health, money, opportunities, purpose. The great key lies in how you feel right now. You can repeat 1,000 affirmations a day, but if inside you there is doubt, fear, or resistance, that's what the universe will mirror back to you. On the other hand, when there is certainty, trust, and inner peace, manifestation becomes natural. Faith magnetizes. It emits a clean, strong frequency that cuts through mental noise and sends a clear signal to the quantum field. I am ready. That's why feeling is more powerful than thinking. And the quality of your faith is directly tied to your ability to surrender, to trust in the unseen. True faith is silent. It doesn't shout, panic, or demand. It simply exists as an anchor of serenity amid chaos. It says, even if I don't see it, I know. Even if I don't understand it, I feel. Even if it takes time, I trust. This kind of faith moves mountains because it transforms you. It makes you act differently, think differently, vibrate differently. It takes you out of the role of a victim of life and places you as a co-creator of your destiny. The more you practice this inner trust, the more you begin to notice that things flow more smoothly. Obstacles shrink, delays become lessons, and time stops being the enemy. You enter into harmony with the invisible order of things. You become a channel for the new, and it doesn't take long for this to happen. Just a single moment of true surrender. A moment when you feel with your whole body that everything is okay, even without knowing how. Those few seconds of pure faith are enough to change the course of an entire life. So instead of asking, when will it happen? Start asking, how can I vibrate with the certainty that it's already happening? Because the answer isn't outside, it's within. It's in how you feel, believe, and show up in life. Faith is the portal, and what you feel is what you create. Take a deep breath. Maybe right now, you're feeling something different inside. A slight relief, a subtle sense that, in fact, you don't have to carry the weight of everything on your shoulders. Because the truth is, the path doesn't have to be so hard once you learn to let go of control and trust the flow that's already guiding your life with more wisdom than you can imagine. You don't need to force timing or try to predict every step ahead. The journey reveals itself as you walk it. Each step you take toward trust slowly paints a new landscape. It's not about giving up on your dreams, it's about stopping the fight against the current. When you stop resisting, you start cooperating with the intelligence of life. And that's when miracles happen. Think about how many times you've tried to control what wasn't yours to control. How many sleepless nights, how many looping thoughts, how many expectations that only led to frustration. Now imagine what could happen if you used that same energy to trust, to rest, to allow. Imagine releasing your anxiety as if you were letting go of a balloon into the sky, and realizing that even when released, it still finds its destination. Your strength doesn't lie in control, but in allowing. True surrender isn't passivity, it's courage. It's looking at the unseen with the eyes of someone who believes, of someone who already knows that something greater is unfolding, even if the mind doesn't yet understand it. This video has been more than words. It's an invitation for you to make peace with life, to stop swimming against the current, and instead allow yourself to be carried by the tide of your greater purpose. Everything you desire with your heart, healing, love, success, transformation, is already available. But it can only enter when you make space. And making space means letting go. Maybe today is the day you simply choose to trust, to say to yourself, I release, I allow, I open. And in that simple choice, the entire universe begins to move in your favor. I thank you deeply for staying until the end, for allowing these words to touch your soul, even in silence. If something here resonated with you, don't let that feeling fade away. Honor it. Come back whenever you need to remember who you are. And if you felt that this message spoke to your soul, I invite you to explore the other videos on this channel. Each one carries a frequency, an intention, a new doorway to open within you. Transformation begins the moment you say yes to it. And if you've made it this far, believe me, you've already begun. See you in the next video. Until then.